All right, guys, so my question to you tonight is, have you ever started something for the right reasons and with great intent, but it took you down a path of emotional and financial despair? Something that may have impacted your children's lives, maybe your spouse's life. Maybe it almost took you to the brink of divorce, right? Something that left you feeling like a complete loser before you were able to turn it all around and start living and creating the lifestyle that you always dreamt for you and your family. Well, that's kind of exactly what happened to me. And that's exactly what I hear day in and day out as I talk to aspiring online entrepreneurs, right? It's not for the faint at heart. It's for somebody who's going to dig in there and get going, right? Anyway, so let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about my story. It's painful, right? And I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of things in this video that make me uncomfortable, that highlight my vulnerabilities, if you will. For instance, I don't often get in front of a camera and with a couple of bullet points and just start going, right? I normally make videos with a script and reading from a teleprompter, right? So first and foremost, part of me making this video is part of the story that I'm going to explain to you guys tonight, and it's part of the process. It's part of the transition, right? So that's one aspect of it. But anyway, let me go ahead and stop rambling because I'm already rambling. Let me just go ahead and tell you a little bit about me, my story, and how I'm hopeful that it will help you and what you do in your online journey. So my story starts with, of course, my name, right? Shane Rutledge. If you don't know me or haven't seen me online, I'm an up-and-coming rock star, baby. I don't know about all that, but nevertheless, let me go ahead and tell you my story. Look, it's been a long road. My journey, I started back in 2010, building affiliate stores for like Amazon products and Google AdSense sites, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons in that period of time. I learned how to do keyword research. I learned how to do SEO. I learned how to build WordPress sites. So there was a lot of value in those lessons, but unfortunately, I got tired of making $4 or $5 on a commission from an Amazon sale, or even worse yet, making 25 cents when I got somebody to my Google AdSense site and they clicked on some Google ad, right? So even though it was a tremendous lesson and I learned a lot during that time period, it wasn't paying off financially for me. And so that was tough, but I had to pivot, right? I needed to do something that was more lucrative. And so at the time I chose to get into local marketing, right? And so I started a local marketing agency in 2012. And I thought, at the time, well, what the heck, I've learned how to rank stuff on Google. I've learned how to do SEO. I've learned how to build websites. I learned how to do keyword research. And so I know local businesses need that. And so I transitioned into doing that for local businesses. I quickly learned that, local businesses, it was pretty competitive back in 2012. And let me tell you, it's even more competitive now. But nevertheless, I still own an agency today. I still have a handful of clients. But that took me down the path of having to learn a lot. Meaning, I learned how to do everything I've already mentioned, right? Building websites, doing SEO, ranking on Google. And then I had to do other stuff. I had to learn other stuff, which was, reputation marketing, video marketing, social media marketing, building citations, driving leads, doing paid traffic, Google AdWords and Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and just everything that a local business needs to do online. I gained the experience over the last 8 years by owning a local marketing agency. But I can tell you that, I spent, about 6 years from 2012 to 2018 building my business, right? I still work full-time. I work for a federal law enforcement agency, and so I can't really go into a lot of detail about that. But let me just tell you, it's 40, 50 hours a week, generally speaking. And so I'm as busy as anybody else, right? A lot of us are blessed to have a full-time job. We all have families, right? We're all super busy. We're all getting pulled in many different directions. And so when you add what essentially became another full-time second job on top of that, as you can imagine, it pulled me away from time that I would have spent with my family, right? My son, my wife. And when you do that for an extended period of time, like a number of years, it's kind of taxing on you, right? And at some point in time, you realize that you've gone down a path that you started with great intentions, right? My original intent was to be able to send my son to private school, right? And to build a lifestyle of time freedom and financial freedom for my wife and my family and me and all that good stuff. And so I had great intent. I was doing it for the right reasons, but I took a path that led me to more despair than it did the lifestyle that I was looking for. And so, that being said, there was a tremendous amount of lessons that I could learn from the path that I took there. And I will say though, before I get into those lessons and how I've pivoted and transitioned again out of it, is because I work full time, I always tried to find a service that I could provide to a local business owner that I could automate the fulfillment of, right? Whatever that may have been. Maybe that was a software, maybe that was outsourcing the work to somebody else, or what have you, right? I needed to, or at a certain point in time, I realized that, hey, I don't care to learn all this stuff anymore. I don't want to be working in my business. I want to be working on my business, right? Was a lesson that I had to learn in there. And so I tried to pivot in the middle of that to give me some more freedom and be able to free up my time to spend with my family instead of always working on my business and learning the next whatever in order to provide that to a local business owner. Now I can tell you from 2012 till today, I mean, I still buy a few every now and again, and this is painful to admit, but it's very true, that I have purchased over 600, I know that's a big number, 600 Warrior Special Offers or JVZoo products, right? And so if that's not the true definition of shiny object syndrome, I have no idea what is, right? I mean, you add that up, those were over $50,000 worth of stuff that some of them were beneficial. Some of those tools I still use today. Some of those tools I used in my agency as I was building it. But for the most part, the vast majority of that are tools that I wasted money and time on, never used. I've also spent a tremendous amount of money on high ticket coaching, right? Mentorship programs, master classes. I've gotten a lot of value out of those. They've helped me become who I am. They've helped me realize some of the errors in my ways. But when you add it all up, my online journey, instead of me being able to create that time freedom and that financial freedom that we all long for, right? We all want to do what we want, when we want, how we want. It didn't create that for me, right? It created debt. It created a huge amount of debt, right? I think all in all, I've spent close to about $70,000, maybe $75,000 in my online journey. Now I say that's very true. It's a large number, but I've also made a vast majority of that back. But I'll get into that in a minute. So, as you can imagine, when you're spending a tremendous amount of time away from your wife, away from your son, away from your family, also racking up debt like you would not believe, right? $75,000 over, I say 10 years because I started in 2010, but the reality of it was really from 2012 till about almost 19, right? So a good 6-7 years there. You're talking, that's almost $1,000 a month in shiny objects or coaching or mentoring or whatever, right? And so you combine all that. You combine the time away you could be spending with your family. You combine $1,000 a month in debt, right? As you can imagine, that begins to weigh on your spouse and your family. And when I continued to do that for a length of time, it put a strain on my relationship with my wife. Now I'm thankful that we had a strong relationship. I'm thankful that I had a really great woman who allowed me to go down that path to learn everything that I learned, and what really cost us dearly as a couple, financially, emotionally, and all that good stuff. And so that was very, very, very tough times. Now, I'm happy to say that we have almost completely worked our way out of it, but it is a painful experience. And I hear that quite often, as I'm in a profession now where I talk to online entrepreneurs and I provide training and mentoring to a lot of them. And I hear that story over and over again that, you know, a lot of people, they come online and they struggle for years and years and years, and it's painful, right? They experience kind of the same thing that I did. And so let me get back to the story that I was saying, and that is my story of what I did. You know, I wanted to go ahead and share with you the path that I went down that was part of the pain, because you know, let me tell you, it's still painful. But nevertheless, you know, from 2012 to 2018 and a half, right, or so, I continued going down a path of learning everything that I needed to know to help a local business do their marketing. I continued, you know, buying products and doing things that I thought would help me do and build that business. Now, I will say that I was able to earn some money in that time period, right? I wasn't completely just spending money and not making any money in return. And that was kind of part of it too, is that my two best clients, right? One of them I helped start from kind of infancy. It was an HVAC vendor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You know, he had been in business for a little over a year at that point in time. You know, he was growing, and I was able to come in and help his business, and we worked together for a number of years. And I didn't provide a lot of services for him. I provided reputation marketing for him, and got him started with that area. And then I grew into doing some video marketing for him. But a long story short, I can't take full credit for his entire growth, but I can tell you that, you know, I helped him from his infancy into, you know, now 5 or 6 years later, you know, he's doing several $1 million a year in revenue, right? He's doing good. His business is strong and it's growing every day. Another one of my local clients that I started working with was actually a friend from high school who owned a window and siding contracting business. And when I started working with him, you know, he was on some hard times. His business was a little rough. He wasn't sure, you know, which direction to go. He was kind of stuck in the past on his marketing efforts, if you will, meaning, you know, he hadn't embraced the whole internet stuff yet. You know, he was still doing business the way that he was taught. And so, yeah, he had a website. I think it was a one-page website, right? That was about the extent of his online marketing. He had just come out of a bankruptcy, and he was trying to rebuild his business. And so I reached out to him, and we started working together. And so over the next couple of years, right, you know, 4 or 5 years of working with him, I was able to help him. Now for him, I did everything, right? His website, his SEO, his video marketing, his reputation marketing, his, you know, just everything a local business needs, right? And I was able to help him start generating millions and millions of dollars every year in his business, right? We went from one location, barely out of bankruptcy, to now he has 2 locations. He's doing millions of dollars worth a year. Now, I can't take credit I can't take full credit for all of their success by any means. And let me tell you, local business owners work their tail off every day, and they deserve all the credit. But I was an integral part in helping them, right? And so from the outside looking in, right, I'm seeing what I perceive these guys to be living the life, right? They own businesses. They are, you know, they're taking multiple family vacations a year. They're buying new vehicles. They're buying bigger homes. They're doing and living what I thought I wanted to do. And so around 2018, I realized, gosh, you know, this just isn't really working out for me, man. I've racked up quite a bit of debt. I've, out of that $75,000 or so that I spent over, basically 10 years, I think I've made a little over right about 50,000 of that back. So, I'm still in the hole 20 grand, right? So it's an expensive education. 10 years worth of learning, still 20 grand in debt from that original endeavors. But what it did was it taught me a lot of things. There's so many lessons I learned out of all that. But what I really want to get to as I start wrapping this up and hopefully can help draw a lesson to you or for you, is that quite often, there's a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, and a lot of learning curve to overcome. And so, as I was saying earlier, I spent a number of years trying to learn how to automate the fulfillment of marketing for local businesses. And so I had purposely avoided doing affiliate marketing and doing multi-level marketing for a number of years. I hadn't been involved in affiliate marketing since 2010, right, when I first started. I hadn't been involved in a multi-level marketing company since around 98, 99. When I back at the time, my fiance, which later became my wife, more or less told me, look, this isn't working out. You need to go get a job if this is going to work out. And so I did, right? I went down my career path. But nevertheless, in 2018, about midway through 2018, I came across a product that I thought I was going to be able to offer to my local marketing clients. And then when it was a way for me to automate the fulfillment of it, was for me to be able to offer this as a service to local businesses or to just affiliate marketers, or anybody in general who wanted to be able to build their own websites or their own sales funnels and all that good stuff, right? It was a tool around websites and funnels and that type of stuff. And it was relatively inexpensive for me to get white label access to and start offering it to people. Now, I will tell you that never panned out because the product turned out to be really buggy. It turned out to be something that I really couldn't recommend, right? I wasn't going to put my name behind something that wasn't working. But I will tell you that it had an affiliate program with that, whether you were selling it to a local business or to another affiliate marketer or whomever. It paid on multiple levels of an affiliate program. And so that opened up my eyes again to being paid on multiple levels. And so I wasn't eager to go jump into a multi-level marketing company by any means, but I was by then I had put in enough time, energy, effort, and sweat that I was open to the idea of getting paid for other people's effort, right? And so around 2018 or so, I pivoted again to getting rid of all my clients that were pains in the butt to work with, right? And I kept the two. I still work primarily with one. Every now and again, I may do something for that HVAC vendor, but I still work daily with this local window and siding contractor. We're good friends. We hang out all the time. But nevertheless, and so I knew that I had to do something different, right? I knew that I had to take all the skills that I had learned and start building a true business for me and my family that would give me the ultimate goal of what I wanted, which was the time freedom to spend more time with my family and the financial freedom that would allow us to do whatever we wanted while we were spending time together. And so around that same time, now we're getting into the beginning of 2019. By then I'd stopped buying all the nonsense, WSO products and JV Zoo products. I stopped spending money, right? I stopped wasting money, right? I had to stop all the leaks out of the business. And I wanted to focus on a couple things. I wanted to keep the contracting client because he was still paying me a couple of grand a month. I wanted to then start spending my time on things that I knew could be profitable. And so I started looking at other affiliate programs. I started looking at some multi-level marketing companies. I was still searching. I was still trying to find something that I knew could work. And I dabbled in a few different things like a lot of other people do again, and I found myself in the same darn boat 8 years later. What can I do to make money online? Now, by now I had a bunch of skills, but I still didn't have an opportunity. I still didn't have what I wanted. And that's around the same time that I realized one of my other my second biggest mistake in all the years of me doing my online stuff was I didn't build my own list, right? I always purposely avoided building my own list. I don't know, I thought I knew better or something. So anyway, long story short was I found myself, struggling, floundering around trying to find something that I could do. And anyway, it took me to about, I think it was August of 2019 when I finally found something. Quite honestly, I thought it was too good to be true when I first heard about it, but I figured, like so many other things that I'd tried over the years, what the heck, I'll throw $100 at it and see what happens. And I can tell you, it's turned out to be one of the greatest decisions of my life. It's turned out to be way more than I ever thought it would be. And so I can tell you, since around the beginning of 2019, certainly going into that, August of 2019, I haven't bought any junk products. Now I have invested into primarily some high ticket coaching, some high ticket mentoring, right? I'm a big advocate of learning and learning things that are going to work to help you be successful instead of shiny object stuff. But nevertheless, so I've invested in a few courses that are helping me brand myself and help build my influence on my target audience or the audience that I want to build, that I am building. I can tell you that I've taken those skills that I've learned in branding myself and getting over my fear of just throwing myself out there. Getting over the fear of what other people may think. I've managed to be pretty successful in some sense. Now, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, but I'm getting there, and I'm striving every day for that. And so I can tell you, in this company that I found in August of 2018, a little over 20 months ago, right at, actually this month makes 24 months, right? So it's in 24 months, I've managed to attract and recruit about 115 people into this business. That has also led into a much larger team because they're duplicating. And so I have generated some success with that. And so I'm happy to say that that's part of what's helped me turn around. The courses that I've taken have helped me build my brand, my audience, my influence. I still got a long ways to go in that, but we're working towards that. I've also started working on launching my own products, right? Instead of buying products all the time, now I'm launching products, or actually I'm about to launch products. I've got a couple of products that are ready to go. I just really kind of need to start the marketing campaigns. I've got 2 products that I'm building from scratch. And so I've got a lot of things in the works, and I'm working towards becoming a brand, becoming a influencer, continuing to build my multi-level marketing business, continuing to launch my own products, right? So that's what I've transitioned into, and it's working. It's paying off, guys. I can tell you that, I'm past the point of all the struggle, all the pain, all the uncertainty of continuing to rack up debt and spend all my time doing something that really wasn't getting me anywhere, to now I'm able to show my wife and my son that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that I'm paying off that debt, that I'm making progress. It's helped me reestablish the relationship with my wife and have her come along with me on the journey as we rebuild this thing together and as we work ourselves out of that huge debt that I created. And so I'm happy to say that is where we are now. And it's amazing to me that the journey that I started on so many years ago has gotten me to where I am today. Now, I know that I'm wrapping this up kind of weird. It's been 20 some odd minutes, and if you're still with me, I certainly appreciate that. Like I said, making this video unscripted, just stand in front of it and talk. It was one of the hurdles that I'm trying to overcome as I transition myself into into building my brand and building my influence and all that good stuff. And so it's challenging, right? And so I went down a few pivots and potholes and whatever during that whole little thing. But if you're still with me, I certainly appreciate that. Now look, here's part of the lesson that I hope you can get from all that, or what I try to teach people as some of the people that I'm mentoring and training. Look, the reality of it is this isn't easy, right? The online journey isn't easy. Very few people achieve overnight success. Yes, it happens. You see those stories all the time. Don't know if they're always true or not, but you see them all the time, right? And I can tell you this, if you're willing to get in there and grind, do the hard work, do the work that's going to help you be successful, anybody can be successful online if they just do it, right? And so part of the lesson that I want to say, or part of what I had to learn, was in a lot of cases I had to learn to get out of my own way. I had to learn to stop thinking that I knew it better than some of the gurus out there. Now I'll say that I'm not a big fan of all the gurus, but let's face it, right? If they're doing something that you want to do, it's worth listening to, right? One of the greatest quotes out there is, model success, right? Do what other successful people are doing and you can get it too. And so I went down my own path, right? And I was following people. I thought I was doing what I could do to succeed, but it took me down a path of despair and emotional and financial despair, and caused all that pain within my relationship, took away time that I'll never get back. All the way to now where I've got more time, I've got more freedom, I've got more financial freedom. I'm almost completely paid off that debt. I'm starting to build a surplus of other items that are helping me build my business. And so guys, the lesson learned from all of this is stick with it. Keep fighting for your dreams. Keep going after your dreams. Never give up, no matter how hard it is, right? There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a path out there for you that will lead you to your dreams, but you can't give up before you get there, right? What's that old saying, or the old image, the old graphic cartoon picture of, people digging in a hole with a pickaxe, right? And one stops right before he gets to the diamonds. Guys, there's no quit. There's no stopping, right? You got to keep on going. So despite the fact that you may have already spent years and years and years struggling, or maybe just months struggling, I don't know what that may be for you. All I do know is if you don't give up, you keep working at it, you keep learning, you keep transitioning, keep pivoting, keep going in the direction that needs you to go, you will eventually figure it all out. You will eventually succeed at what you're trying to accomplish. And so it's kind of a long-winded, long story, long whatever, but I hope you find some value in my story. Hope it resonates with you, and for whatever value there is, I hope it will help you in some way at all. So thank you for listening to all this. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.